Yo, my people, welcome back to the platform. Been gone for a minute, but we're back with a brand new segment. It's called the Players Table, man, where we're going to give you some knowledge, information, topics, life stories on shit that me and artist Polo Sho have been through, man. That's just really what it is. It's a podcast for y'all to learn something, to relate to something. Just have a good time listening to us, man. Yo, you got any words on the introduction on what we got going on right now, bro?
So this podcast is called Players Table. With myself, Polo Sho. I'm a rapper based here in Calgary. I'm also an entrepreneur and an audio engineer, and I'm doing it with...
Yeah, Ferno. I'm also an artist, audio engineer, anything media related. I'm your guy. Love this shit. This runs in my blood. Part of my family's history, man. It's just radio, music, everything, man. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that we started a new podcast and just, shine light on what really matters and, give some information to people that have questions on really anything. So, if y'all have any questions on music journey, being an independent artist, the business of music, audio engineering, any type of shit like that, put it in the comments and we're definitely going to look at your questions and we'll put it in the next episode. But for now, we're just kind of going to let you know that, this is going to be out every single week. We're going to have different guests occasionally, come talk about the facts and topics that we got going on. And today we're just going to talk about the goals for this podcast and what we want out of it, man. So go ahead and let the people know what you want out of this podcast and what your vision is.
So like I said, I'm a rapper here in the city of Calgary. I'm also an entrepreneur, and for me, I've been pursuing music professionally here in Calgary since 2017. And I guess what I'm trying to do with this podcast is just share some of the information that I've gained along the way and just have this podcast be a conversation that is about the independent artist journey. There's not a lot of, if someone wants to start making music today, they have a lot of questions, right? I work with a lot of new artists, and I just know I'm familiar with that struggle, right? And so we really want this podcast to be the premier platform, like the premier podcast where you can go and you can educate yourself as an independent artist.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. And like the way you put it out is really just a way for people to come to one spot and learn stuff, whatever that may be, man. Business, audio, maneuvering life as an independent artist, all that different type of stuff. This is the main platform to come learn something, and I'm glad that we got that all out of the way, man, because it allows us to not get into conversation, kind of like, what is being an independent artist, man. Let's start off with that, episode number 1. I feel good. I feel like let's talk about what even is being an independent artist in 2023, because like me and you both started a while back, but let's say someone's listening that wants to be an artist today, like what is being an independent artist in 2023?
I feel like, so for those of you who don't know, we'll just keep it pretty basic here, as far as we're just gonna assume people don't know anything about the music business. In the music business, you are either an independent artist or a major artist. A major artist is an artist that's signed to a major record label, and there's really only 3. These 3 guys own all of media, even in movies as well, Universal are the guys that own most of the stuff. And for them, it's really about market share for them. So they want to have the big, like the Drakes, the Ed Sheerans, they want to have the artists that control most of the market share. So that's why they want to sign, good talent, and they want to control those numbers, right? So if you're signed to a major record label, you have the machine behind you. And what we call the machine is, all the things that need to be happening for an artist to get on the radio, an artist to be getting on late night shows, to be getting those looks that if you just started, you're wondering like, yo, why is Drake always getting these opportunities and I'm not, right? And so on the other end of the spectrum, there's independent artists. So it means you're not signed to one of the major labels or a children company of the major labels. You're doing it yourself. And in 2023 or in today's world, you can distribute it any number of ways, DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby. So there's ways to put your music out there without the major labels. And so if you are not signed to one of the 3 big major labels, then you're an independent artist. And so basically another thing with a major artist is if you're signed to a major label, they're putting money into your music for you, right? And so if you're independent, you're funding it yourself, and that's where the word independent comes from. Like it's all you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, man, even when you are getting put money into you, it's almost like you're funding yourself, because if that shit doesn't hit, if your music doesn't hit and you're not making that back, that's debt. Now that's debt that you owe to that major label. So I feel like a lot of people think that, you get signed, you get paid, and you're out there, spending your money and shit and buying all this stuff. Like, while some rappers do that, man, what we don't see is that repo truck coming, right? The behind the scenes shit, man. Repo truck pulling up, taking their cars and shit like that. But I feel like, in my opinion, being an independent artist in 2023 is just having the drive, dedication, and work commitment that you have for your music. Because at the end of the day, you have to wear 8 to 10 different hats as an independent artist. So if you can juggle that, you can multitask, you should be okay. And I feel like, just like any small business, you have to consider yourself a small business, because you're putting all this dedication, investment into it that you want it to return profit at the end of the day. So I feel like, learning how to maneuver 8 different roles and being comfortable doing that for at least 2 to 4 years, that's the independent route. Having patience and knowing where your end goals are, that's the independent route. Because a lot of people that do blow up overnight, TikTok songs or whatever, now they have a machine behind them.
Yep.
If they get left without a machine, they're not going to survive. It's just like the jungle. You have to learn to survive before you can survive on your own. And I feel like that's what an independent artist is. If you have the drive to learn how to survive on your own, once you do get the help from the machine, you'll either be good without them or with them. Like, it's irrelevant at that point.
I mean, ideally, like, there were people like Young Dolph. Apparently, he allegedly got was offered like an $8 million deal, and he turned it down because he was like, Young Dolph passed away, but he was someone who was like notoriously like an independent artist, and it was about like pushing his own label, Paper Route Empire.
Okay.
And his whole thing was, I remember I watched an interview with him. He said, like, yeah, they offered me 8 to 12 million. I turned it down because I knew, like, I'm gonna make more than that in a couple years. You know? And so that's really the game. Like, you need to learn. I feel like the music business is one of the few businesses in the world where it's kind of like all the secrets of the, like, everything about the business is like secretive. Like, yo, don't let the artist know this. Like, and it really is like the information is really not, like, it's out there, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, the industry tries to keep it away from you. You know what I mean? And yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely like, you have to be willing to wear all those hats, like, hustle yourself to the point where those labels come knocking at your door. And the fact is, the way it is in 2023, and just, I guess it's been this way for the last couple years, it used to be that if you were a diamond in the rough talent like a Justin Bieber, the labels are gonna come find you. Oh, you got a YouTube video of you singing, and they're gonna invest artist development into you and turning you into a superstar. But in 2023, they want you to be already going. They want to just be able to sprinkle some money on it and know they're gonna get their money back. They don't want a thing that's different now than 10 years ago is that artist development in the majors is gone. They want you to already be ready to go, and they just need to invest so they can get their money back. They don't want to have to invest in growing you into an artist.
Nah, that's facts, and that's why I was saying you need to know how to handle like 8 different roles, because you're gonna be the marketing team, you're gonna be all this different stuff, and like, let's talk about those roles, man. Being an independent artist, I feel like a lot of people won't tell you this, but being your own audio engineer in the beginning, recording yourself, mixing your own music, learning your own voice and shit. And I also think like, creating your own cover art, maybe shooting your own music videos, shooting your own photos for press release, for media kits, whatever it is. Marketing, so learning how to use ads and different tactics in that way. I feel like those are a couple roles. Do you have any other roles that would go into being an independent artist?
I think that's really it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be like, I feel like when you start, you should wear all the hats, but building a team, as you hear that a lot, like having a team, because at the end of the day, like, the label just wants a situation where it's like, oh, this guy is doing, this many people at his shows. This guy's doing this many monthly streams on Spotify. If we invest X amount of money into him, he's gonna be able to amplify by 10x, and we're gonna get this much money back. It really, a lot of the guys making the decisions don't listen to the music. They just want to look at the numbers and be like, yeah, this is good. It's a good investment. Yeah,
bro. But like, when you say building a team, I feel like it's easier said than done, because as a new artist coming into that, listening to that, it brings my hopes up. And that's false hopes, because at the beginning, bro, there's no one that's going to be willing to you barely listen to your own shit. Like when you're starting off, you decide I want to be an independent artist. I want to make music. I got to build a team. That's like a little far fetched. Like unless you have homies and you know people that are already doing that type of shit, it's like you gotta prove yourself in a way. So I feel like any profitable business, it takes 2+ years. You have to have those 2 years under your belt, and that's what I mean when I say that you have to do 8 different roles, 6 different roles, like all this different shit that you gotta do on your own. That once you make that 2-year mark and people look back on it and they're like, oh yeah, let's say Ferno did all his cover art, Ferno did all his promotional shit, Ferno did all his recording and audio engineering. He makes his own shit, all this different stuff that independent artists should do in the beginning. Then they're like, yo, I want to join this team, man. Let me do some cover art for you. And then I bet. Now you got a person that does cover art for you. Now you're 2.5 years, 3 years in. Someone's like, yo, who's shooting your videos? Let me shoot your videos, bro. I believe in your vision. Okay, cool. Now you got someone that's shooting your videos. But when you begin it, when you're first starting, is what I mean is like you got to learn to be comfortable doing all these different roles to propel your career. That's what I meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's definitely what it is. There are the exceptions. There are people who like they come into the game and I feel like what you said is important. People have to believe in you. And I feel like that's the hardest part of being an artist is. You know what I mean? Like
creating that belief.
You might have it in your head that you're the illest motherfucker alive.
As you should.
As you should. Yeah, you should not be on the mic if you don't think that.
Let me say something real quick, bro. To any person pursuing music, doing music, any type of shit like this, you gotta be deluded, bro. In a way, you have to be delusional, man. Because if it's not you, who the fuck is it gonna be, bro? At the end of the day, that's what they say, man. Is you gotta believe in yourself harder than anyone else will believe in you, because at the end of the day, that's what's gonna keep you going and surviving in this type of environment, man. You gotta be delusional just a little bit. Don't go crazy, don't go psychopath. Be delusional. That's what someone's not gonna tell you, bro. They're gonna tell you, yo, keep it calm, believe in yourself. Nah, believe in yourself, but be delusional, because you're the person that's gonna believe it so hard that you could be delusional in a sense, and then that shit just ends up becoming reality because you're thinking so hard. You're thinking all this different shit that's a normal person might not even think about. Like they're gonna look at you and be like, yo, this guy loco, bro. This guy's thinking way too outside the box. And then it hits, and then those same people that doubted you are now saying, oh damn, yeah, I kind of believed in you since day one. Like, yeah, I knew you was gonna pop off, but they didn't, bro. Only you believed in yourself that hard that you now popped off. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Be delusional. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it doesn't have to be delusional. Like,
nah, bro,
believe
trust
that
me.
you got it. Like, believe and be right. But I see what you're saying. Like, if I get it. Like, if you're just starting and you have the inclination, like, yo, I could be the next great this person, right? Before you get to the point where your skills match that vision, you do have to be delusional to be able to get to that point.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, there are people who have the skills, right? And like, I feel like that's working at it as well. It's not just, I guess there's two parts to that advice. You know, you can be delusional and be the greatest, but you don't have the talent. But it literally needs to be like, let your delusion. There should be some plan for your talent and your skills.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean? Because you have motherfuckers walking around, being like, "Yo, I got this." They get on the mic, and it's not what they think it is, And
it's
you can't, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not
But I'll tell you this: if they're delusional in that point, that's what's making them rap in front of you. That's what's making them jump on that stage. That's what's making them release the music that's booty as fuck. No one's bumping that shit except their grandma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're so delusional. They're like, yo, I'm improving to the point where they're like, now actually improved. And they're actually putting out some decent shit. Give it another 3 years. Now they got eyes of different people. But, if they didn't believe themselves that hard, because you know what, bro, sometimes you can believe in yourself, but as soon as doubt comes in, you're done. You're gone, bro. You're running different direction. Now you're choosing different path. People around you can actually influence, your thoughts, bro. Your thoughts are real, and your thoughts are the most important things because those can drive whatever the universe throws back at you, bro. So like if you think something hard enough, the universe is gonna match your thoughts and give you that shit. So that's what I mean. Being delusional helps in the end because you're thinking this shit that might be crazy, but the universe doesn't know that. They're not saying the universe doesn't judge you off delusion or nothing. They're thinking they're matching your thoughts. You're thinking this delusional ass shit, you're gonna get it back, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. If you believe yourself hard enough that you're crazy, people look at you and they say, "Oh, this motherfucker is crazy, bro." Like, nah, I don't think so. Then you're the one to pop off if you keep long enough, bro.
Word.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like, yeah, believe in yourself. That's the takeaway.
That's
I
the
feel like
takeaway.
I feel like just delusional just seems like a word, like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, like, have the vision before you have that point as well, but believe in yourself. Because that's, if the goal is to, if you're going to be knocking on doors telling people like, hey, I'm going to be the next Drake, I need a videographer, I need an audio engineer that's going to be working for free. You know what I mean? Like,
shut that door quick.
Like, you need to be, you know what I mean? You really, I feel like, yeah, you have to have that belief before anybody else has that belief in you. Because that's what's gonna make someone be like. Because that is, you know, when you look at Drake's story, there was a 4D, there was Boy Wonder. These are all people who are like around him now. Yeah. That, you know, I'm sure they were getting paid, but you know what I mean. Like they believed in what Drake would be, right? Yeah. And they went on that journey with him. But I feel like Drake had to believe that first.
100%.
Right? So yeah, I see what you're saying.
Nah, man, believe in yourself. That's what we want to get off. Me personally, I do give that advice to be delusional, just in the sense of it could help at the end of the day when you're in that dark hole and no one's looking at you and no one's even staring at you, but you're delusional enough to think that you can get out of that dark hole where a lot of people don't get out of. Props on you, motherfucker. But man, let's move on to, I want to talk about a little bit deeper on, you know, what goes into being an independent artist. And if you could have 3 tips just off the top of your mind on trying to help a new independent artist, what are the 3 tips that you have to being an independent artist? Like, what would you say to them if they were like sitting here with us right now?
So like what we just talked about, belief, I guess being delusional as well, but like, you know,
yeah, 100%.
I get it. Putting it out into the universe that you can make whatever vision you have of yourself happen, right? Yeah. You have to believe it before anybody else is going to join your team. Secondly is, I would say, work ethic, because it's like, I feel like what it takes to be an independent artist, like what it takes to be a musician is, you know what I mean? Like, music is this fun thing, you know what I mean? It's so easy to be in the studio, everybody wants to smoke, and you don't get anything done, or you have a show and you just get faded because you're at a bar before you have to get on stage, you know what I mean? It really does, you really do have to take it seriously, you know what I mean? Yeah, music is fun, but it's a job just like any other job, right? And
business.
If you want to excel, you really got to show up like you're showing up to the office. You got to get some work done. So work ethic, I think, is so important. Like, and you see that with all the greats, you know, like Tupac would spend hours in the studio. Eminem spends all that time, you know what I mean? Anyone you consider to be great, they put that work in to be great. They didn't just roll out of bed and make the hottest song ever.
Yeah.
And I guess if I was to add one more thing, what else? I think, I don't know. Like, I feel like those are the 2 things for me. Like,
okay. No, that's facts, bro. Yeah. All right. If it was me giving you 3 tips, I look at you in the eyes, motherfucker, and I tell you these 3 tips. I'd say number 1 is go ahead and buy a home studio. Never, listen, I know there's engineers out there that this is their business and stuff. Don't prey off new artists, all right? They suck. They're not going to come to your studio and drop $300, $400 a session to sound like ass when they get home, all right? So take my tips, new artists, independent artists, get a home studio so you can practice every single day. Just like if you want to play basketball, what do, man? You buy a basketball hoop, you put that bitch in your backyard, and you're out there 8 hours a day. You go to school, you come home, ball, hoop, practice, right? You're not Iverson, all right? We are talking about practice, and you have to show up for yourself. Excuse me. You have to show up for yourself when you're an independent artist. You need to put in those hours every single day. You need to practice. So get a computer, get an audio interface, get an XLR cable, and get a condenser microphone, all right? In a future video, we'll get into depth on what all these things do, but if I'm telling you this right now, this is what I want you to go by, all right? That's going to get you going, recording. You need a DAW, digital audio workstation. Excuse me, I'm dying. So you need a digital audio workstation to record your shit. I recommend Pro Tools. You can get FL Studio where you can make beats and learn all this different stuff, all right? That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, which should have been tip number 1, but we're not going in order, is having heart, bro. And it's kind of what you were saying. Who's gonna be in the studio, put in that hours? Who's gonna treat it like a business? Who's gonna come in and put that work in to not look at this shit like, yo, this is cool. This is what my bro did. This is what I want to get bitches. I want to party. I want to do coke. I want to fucking smoke weed all day and be a rapper. Like, while some people do that, that's not one of my tips. One of my tips is having heart we can notice the consumers, the fans, artists, people you work with. We can notice when you have heart. It shows in your shit, man. A lot of artists that are successful wear their heart on their sleeve. All right, this is what pushes you through to making that quality music that people can relate to. Cause like if you're not doing it from the heart, you're just gonna make some regular shit, bro. It's gonna be manufactured sound, man. We've heard it before. There's a template to it. People follow it. You got it. All right. If you have heart, you're gonna be creating original shit. Tip number 3 is letting go of all self-doubt, negativity, and people around you that don't believe in you. All right. If you tell your mama that you want to be an artist and she doesn't believe in you, delete her number. Block her on Facebook. All right. You're only gonna see that person for dinner. All right. No, that's extreme. But you can't listen to that shit. All right. You have to only keep the thoughts, the people around you that believe in you. You got to keep the people and the positive energy around you, because life is a vibe, and you got to have a good vibe on anything you do, because that's what's gonna keep you going. All right. So those are my 3 tips. If you listen to those tips, if you listen to Polo Show's tips, you're going to go far and you're going to keep going, all right? But nah, those are my tips. Those are your tips. And I kind of just want to say, man, I feel like that's what this podcast is all about. It's about me and you sitting here talking about real shit that people can relate to, people can take away as well, information, and kind of just being that guide. I kind of want this to be a journey, so we're going to talk about it all. And it's almost like one of these books right here, you know, like there's different chapters and you go more in depth in different chapters. And I feel like this is chapter 1, being an independent artist. What is an independent artist and what kind of tips we can give you when you're first starting out. And I feel like next week we're going to come back with something along the lines, a little bit more in depth, and we'll kind of gradually keep going until, you know, we're 12, 14, 15 chapters in and we've talked about everything. And then, you know, it's up to you to take all this information to do something with it. And you know, at the end of the day, we want to build a community. We want to know how you do. We want to catch up with you. So like, you know, independent artists, holla at us, man. Let us know how you're doing, what you need help with. You know, people that are just listening to this podcast, you know, we're not just talking about also, you know, music, but life and what it goes into, you know, being a human being in music. Because, you know, music is 10% of everything, man, or 15, 20% of what it really goes down. But you as a person, that's what people are going to invest in, you know, how you think, how you act, you know, are you a role model? Are you just like a hooligan? You know, like, you know, there's a lot of shit that we're going to be talking about on this podcast. And it's just, you know, it's a journey, bro.
Word.
What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I love all that. I think you summarized it. The objective of this first episode is just kind of to introduce you guys to this podcast and what it is we're going to be talking about. And yeah, like I feel like that is what it is. Like we really are trying to just lay out the blueprint where, you know, if someone has the idea to be an artist tomorrow, they can digest some of these episodes and, you know, they have the brain food to get going, you know, to be like, all right, 100%. Let's make this happen. With that, I wanted to just leave with a quote. We're gonna have a segment called Artist Motivation.
Artist Motivation.
So just quotes, again, just to keep you going. This one's off a record. I'm gonna be putting it out soon. It's called New Chain. And I start my verse, I say, destination is the pinnacle. I'll conversate in subliminal. Speak my thoughts out clear, because I know the universe is listening too. And it's the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta believe you can attain what you want, and you have to confidently be able to put that out into the universe. Like, in your thoughts, in your speech, like you said, wear your heart on your sleeve, be that person.
Yes, sir.
And people are gonna
gravitate.
Like, you hear this all the time, like, it is music, but music is really like 10, 20% of your career, you know? It's who you are as a person that is gonna make people buy into your brand.
Yeah, 100%. Nah, man, I couldn't even put it any better, leave it any better. And yeah, so I'm Ferno, artist, engineer, and that's
Young Polo Sho, rapper, audio engineer, entrepreneur.
Yeah, this is the Players Table, and that's been episode 1, introducing what this podcast is about. So the introduction to the journey we're all going to be on. So yeah, stay tuned. This is YYC Hip Hop Daily, and this is brought to you by 2 minds that are artists, engineers, and people in the music business. So yeah, take care, my people. Peace.